Some jobs aren't just tough, they're death traps. Imagine working in freezing waters, dangling near live wires, or diving so deep that one wrong move means instant death. These workers face insane risks daily. Number 10. Alaskan crab fishermen. The deadliest catch you never knew. Picture this. Violent waves crashing over a small boat in the middle of the Bering Sea. The freezing wind howling at 80 miles per hour, and temperatures so low that your skin freezes on contact. This is what Alaskan crab fishermen deal with daily. Their job? Pulling up 800-pound steel crab pots from the ocean's depths, all while battling an unpredictable sea. Sounds tough? Now add the fact that the deck is constantly slippery with ice, and one wrong step means being tossed overboard into freezing waters that will kill you in less than 2 minutes. But that's not even the worst part. These men often work 24-hour shifts, exhausted, drenched in ice-cold seawater, and running on little to no sleep. If a rogue wave slams into the boat, it can cause the entire vessel to capsize, leaving no survivors. And when accidents happen, there's no quick rescue team coming. Many fishermen simply vanish into the sea, never to be seen again. It's the deadliest job on water, and yet they keep going back. Because one successful season can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars in earnings. But at what cost? Number 9. High-voltage line workers, hanging between life and 1,000,000 volts. Imagine standing on the edge of a helicopter, 500 feet above the ground, with nothing but a harness keeping you from falling. But that's not even the scariest part. You're surrounded by power lines carrying up to 500,000 volts of electricity, a current so strong it could turn you into ash in milliseconds. And yet, this is just another day for high-voltage line workers. These professionals repair and maintain live power lines because shutting them down would cause blackouts for entire cities. But here's the shocking part. They don't get electrocuted. How? They wear special Faraday suits that allow electricity to flow around them instead of through them. But make no mistake, one tiny rip in their suit, one exposed wire, or one wrong move, and they're dead instantly. Even worse? Weather conditions make their job even deadlier. Heavy winds, sudden storms, or even a simple misstep can send them plummeting to their deaths. And unlike other high-risk jobs, there's no room for human error here. If they make one mistake, they don't get a second chance. Number 8. Deep-sea saturation divers, living in a metal tube beneath the ocean. If you think regular scuba diving is dangerous, you haven't heard of saturation divers. These professionals don't just dive deep. They live at the bottom of the ocean for weeks at a time, repairing underwater oil rigs and pipelines. The depths they work at? More than 1,000 feet below the surface, where the pressure is so intense that it could crush a car like a soda can. But here's where it gets even crazier. They don't breathe normal air. They use a special mix of helium and oxygen because regular air would become toxic under that pressure. And when their job is done, they can't just swim back up. If they did, their blood would literally boil inside their veins due to decompression sickness, aka the bends. Instead, they must stay inside a pressurized chamber for days, slowly adjusting back to normal conditions. And if that wasn't terrifying enough, these divers often work in complete darkness, with massive sea creatures lurking nearby. Imagine reaching out in the blackness and feeling something move. That's the reality of deep-sea diving. One wrong move, one equipment failure, and they're gone forever. Number 7. Firefighters, running into infernos. While everyone else runs out. While most people run away from danger, firefighters run straight into it. They charge into burning buildings where temperatures can soar over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt steel beams and vaporize water on contact. But flames aren't the only threat. They also face exploding gas leaks, collapsing ceilings, and unpredictable backdrafts. A backdraft is one of the most terrifying phenomena in firefighting. It happens when a fire burns up all the oxygen in a sealed room. The fire dies down, but it's not gone. The moment someone opens a door or window, boom! The entire room explodes into flames. It's one of the deadliest traps a firefighter can walk into. But here's the real hidden danger: toxic smoke. While they may survive the flames, most firefighters die years later from cancer caused by inhaling deadly chemicals. Their protective gear can't block out all the toxins, and over time, it slowly poisons them. It's not just about bravery. It's about fighting an invisible killer long after the fire is out. Number 6. Logging workers. The deadliest land job on Earth. Think cutting down trees is simple. Think again. Logging is the single most dangerous land-based job on the planet. Workers deal with 100-foot trees weighing several tons, and if a tree falls the wrong way, it can crush a person instantly. But it's not just the trees themselves. Massive chainsaws and cutting equipment add another level of danger. One slip, and a logger could lose a limb or worse. And because most logging operations take place deep in remote forests, miles away from medical help, a serious injury often means bleeding out before reaching a hospital. The worst part? The unpredictability of nature. Trees don't always fall where they're expected to. Sometimes they snap midway, kick back, or bring other trees crashing down with them. It's called a widowmaker, a falling limb or tree that comes out of nowhere, killing without warning. Even experienced loggers can't always predict them, making every single day a life-or-death gamble. If you thought these jobs were dangerous, just wait until you see the top 5. These workers handle explosives daily, mine inside active volcanoes, and deal with venomous creatures. Number 5. Ironworkers. Walking on the edge of death. Imagine standing hundreds of feet above the ground, balancing on a narrow steel beam, without safety nets below. That's the daily reality for ironworkers, the people responsible for constructing skyscrapers, bridges, and stadiums. One mistake, one gust of wind, or one misplaced step, and they'll plummet dozens of stories to their deaths. What makes their job even more dangerous? Unpredictable weather. Strong winds can sway steel beams, making it nearly impossible to balance. Rain turns the beams into slippery death traps, and in winter, the ice-covered metal becomes even deadlier. But the scariest part? Many ironworkers don't use harnesses because they slow them down. Instead, they rely on sheer skill and experience to keep themselves from falling. And the danger doesn't stop at falling. Ironworkers also handle red-hot steel, heavy machinery, and explosive welding equipment. A simple mistake can lead to horrific burns, crushed limbs, or being electrocuted. Even with all the safety precautions in the world, ironworkers continue to suffer one of the highest fatality rates in construction. Number 4. Bomb squad technicians. Defusing death in seconds. Some people work under pressure, but bomb squad technicians work against time itself. Their job? Disarming explosives that could kill hundreds in an instant. And unlike in movies, they don't have the luxury of dramatic countdown timers. Most real bombs are built to detonate the moment they're disturbed. Imagine walking up to a live explosive device, knowing that one wrong move could vaporize you instantly. These technicians must stay completely calm while handling unpredictable, unstable explosives. Some bombs are so sensitive that even the heat from a human hand can set them off. And here's the scariest part. Not every bomb can be defused. If the mechanism is too complex, technicians must make a brutal decision: detonate it in a controlled explosion or risk trying to disable it manually. Either way, the danger is constant. A single miscalculation means game over. Number 3. Sulfur miners. Working inside a toxic volcano. Deep inside active volcanoes, a group of men does one of the most horrifying jobs on Earth: mining sulfur. They descend into the blazing heat of volcanic craters, where poisonous gas clouds fill the air, and the ground beneath them could erupt at any moment. But their biggest enemy? The sulfuric acid fumes. These gases are so toxic that they can burn a person's lungs within minutes. Many miners wear only thin cloths over their mouths, which do almost nothing to stop the deadly chemicals from destroying their respiratory systems. Most don't live past 50. And let's not forget the extreme heat. The temperature inside these craters can reach over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and miners must carry massive chunks of sulfur, often weighing up to 200 pounds, up steep, rocky paths for miles. One wrong step on the unstable volcanic rock, and they'll fall straight into boiling pits of liquid sulfur. It's not just exhausting, it's a daily fight for survival. Number 2. Snake milkers. Extracting venom from death itself. Think getting bitten by a deadly snake is rare. For snake milkers, it's a daily risk. Their job is to extract venom from the world's most poisonous snakes, including black mambas, king cobras, and taipans, all of which can kill a human in minutes. Why do they do this? Because venom is used to create life-saving antivenom that treats snakebite victims. But the process is terrifying. They have to hold the snake's head, force its fangs onto a collection jar, and hope it doesn't decide to attack. One slip, one sudden movement, and they'll be fighting for their lives. Even worse, some snakes can strike multiple times in seconds, making them almost impossible to control. And some venom is so potent that a single drop can kill 100 people. Many snake milkers have been bitten multiple times, with each bite causing agonizing pain, paralysis, or even permanent damage. It's a job where survival isn't guaranteed, and one mistake could be their last. Number 1. Underwater welders, the most lethal job on Earth. If you combine deep-sea diving with high-voltage electricity, you get underwater welding, the deadliest profession in the world. These workers repair pipelines, ships, and offshore oil rigs while submerged hundreds of feet below the ocean surface. But here's what makes this job so horrifying. The moment they strike their welding tool, they're surrounded by electric currents. A tiny leak in their suit, instant electrocution. A sudden pressure change, their lungs could collapse. And if they surface too fast, they'll suffer from decompression sickness, which can kill within minutes. And then there's the ocean itself. At extreme depths, the water is ice cold, pitch black, and home to enormous sea creatures. Imagine welding a pipe and feeling something brush against your leg in the darkness. Sharks, giant squids, or even unknown deep-sea predators. It's all possible. With a 50 times higher fatality rate than the average job, underwater welding is as close as you can get to working in a real-life death trap. But with huge paychecks on the line, many take the risk, knowing that any shift could be their last. These aren't just jobs, they're battles for survival. Every shift could be the last. Every mistake is fatal, and yet these brave workers keep going. Would you ever take one of these jobs? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget, subscribe for more shocking top 10s from around the world.